Hello, everybody. Thank you for being part of our formation program here at the Oratory. My name is JC Montenegro, and
I'm Joaquin.
Joaquin, I have a question. Why are we doing this formation program?
So the purpose of this program of the formation is just that way when we get the animators, we know exactly what we're doing, what we want to make sure we push forward for. So we have all our goals set in mind, and we know what we're doing when we start off the year, so we start off on the right foot.
Yeah, and the other thing that is important is sometimes the animators come in different times of the year, and we cannot do one training per each person. So the idea of this is basically that you have these videos that you can go over, and after that we'll have a test. And if you pass the test, you will be able to come and say, hey, I passed the test, I know exactly what is needed, so here I am. So we have a different type of videos that we will be talking about it. Actually, there are how many videos, Joaquin?
There are about 8 videos.
8 videos. So we will be talking about different things that happen, and it will be kind of interactive and interesting. And the first video that is today, we're going to talk about the introduction. So now we understand why we're making these videos. Now the introduction. Now what is interesting is the Salesian Oratory started in Turin when Don Bosco actually welcomed in San Francisco de Sales church a group of young people. So what happened is the first time this young person comes to the church and he starts actually looking for something. No? The sacristan comes and really upset, start beating the kid, like get out, you cannot be here. So Don Bosco comes around and he hears all this big noise and he comes and says, hey, what happened? And the sacristan says, this little kid is trying to steal the food, is trying to steal our place. And Don Bosco says, what are you talking about? He's my friend. And the funny thing is Don Bosco didn't even know this kid. And the kid was actually surprised. So Don Bosco tells him, hey, do you know how to sing in the church? And he's like, no. Do you know how to read in the church? And he's like, no. Do you know how to help us serve in the church? And the kid is no. So Don Bosco says, wait, and at the end of the church, we'll talk. So when the mass is over, he goes to the kid and said, hey, do you know how to do any of these type of things? And he's no. And Don Bosco actually asked him, do you know how to whistle? And he says, yes, I do. And Don Bosco says, amazing, so let's whistle together and let's help each other. And then Don Bosco realized that this kid didn't know how to read, he didn't know how to sing, he didn't know anything. He was a kid who was actually coming from I will say the towns or the cities, from the farmers to the city. And Don Bosco realized that he needed to be educated to be able to love God. So Don Bosco invited him to come next week, and next week he comes and he says, bring more kids. And suddenly he has like a lot of kids coming to this small church. I have a video of that in my what is this called? In my Instagram, and in the Instagram. So, and then this movement of the oratory starts. Now, oratory comes from orando, which means we pray. And Don Bosco has a different way of praying. Don Bosco says, you want to pray, you need to have a playground. You can pray when you play around, when you work, when you have fun. You can have a church, God as a center. You can have
the home, which is where you feel welcome and you just want to be very invited to and just feel comfortable in your space.
And the last one?
Is school, because we always want to be learning. We're learners every single time of the year. No matter how old you get, you're always a learner.
So that's good. You see, that is the way how I want you to do when I ask you what is the oratory. Now, what is interesting is that this oratory here in St. Dominic Savio started around the year 2010, 2013. So this year probably is our 10th-year anniversary, 2023. And how did it start? And this is actually a really interesting story because I was already years here. I was already 10 years here in United States. And there is this sister who comes from Laredo, Texas, Sister Carmen. And Sister Carmen says, JC, we need to do an oratory. There is no oratory here. And I can't believe it. This is a Salesian place. If a Salesian place needs to have an oratory. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit lazy. I was like, no, sister, it's Saturdays, we have this, but yes, sure, why not? I never did anything, Until one time, she actually decided to do it herself. So she came and tried to open, and I realized how difficult this was for her. I'm part of the youth ministry, so I knew that I can find young people to help us out. So I came over here and I said to the young people, we need to do it. And many young people came to help us out, people who used to be missionaries, who would do a volunteer, and they came and we started the oratory. And that is how the first oratory here at Savio started. We started in 2013, more or less, and we started with a group of young people who came and tried to put an amazing activity together for the children that we have. And leadership has been changing every year. We have different dynamics, and this year, Joaquin and a group of young people are being in charge of this. And so that is how the oratory started. What do you think?
I think it's so amazing that we've progressed from a small oratory and we've improved so much, and we're still here to this day. It's our 10-year anniversary, so it's really exciting to see how things have changed.
Yes, and you see, the beautiful part of this is that now, thanks to this video, you are part of this amazing experience. And this is video 1. In the next video, we'll be talking about
expectations and time and how the schedule runs.
So in the next video, Joaquin is going to explain it to you. What is the schedule? What time do we start? When in the year do we normally start? How do we go around and things like that? So thank you so much for being part of this amazing experience. Thank you so much for being part of the Savio family. And thank you so much for actually giving yourself to help kids, because it really makes a difference for so many of us.